Okay, I had to cut out. I just actually got yelled at by like an angry old ginger lady. Um, that was interesting. This is a public service announcement at this time. I'll do. Do not park on the grass at the elementary school or an angry elderly convenience. Hopefully, we're still on. Sheets had connectivity issues. I'm going to try to go through everything real quick. I see we're getting some viewers now. I'm going to do some predictions for this tournament and see how it goes. Personally, looking at it, all three teams have shown signs of life this season. The Assassins last week scored their first ever franchise win over Top Gun. The Warriors played Ruckus extremely well. They just could not get out of there and stop the Knights at all. And in case you're wondering, I'm driving, but I'm on a mount, so I'm going to keep talking. Like I'm at a phone call, but I'm trying to move to a good spot so I'm not losing signal every 5 seconds. So that's going to be one of the bigger keys. Can the Warriors offense pull it together and put together a complete game? Because all season long, what has killed them is their inability to do that. Like I said, 3 interceptions against Ruckus really killed that team last week in a 7-6 loss. Those 6 points are the big difference between a win and a loss. The Assassins' offense, on the other hand, and the Survivors have both seemed to click. The Assassins put up 22 last week against Top Gun after earlier in the season having 6 turnovers in the first 2 games. Haga has seemed to cut down on that. Survivors of Daniel Taylor have put up 27 points last week against the Knights. They seem like they're clicking. So it's a question of offensively, who's the better of the 3? Like right now, momentum-wise, I think the Survivors have that momentum because of how well they played against the Knights last week, especially with the news of Robert Ridenour's return to the team. Ridenour was a key part of their offense a couple years ago. So offensively, I'm going to give the edge to Survivors currently. Defensively speaking, all 3 teams have shown great defense at times this season. The Assassins' defense, in that 32-0 loss to Ruckus, 2 of those were pick sixes. So they didn't play bad at all in that first game. By the second and third games, though, they're only surrendering a total of 18 points in 2 games. So if you count the last 2, they're only surrendering 9 points per game. So they're coming around. Survivors need some work. That Knights game was just absolutely brutal last week. Andy had his way with that defense throughout the entire game. It was just not even close. And the Warriors, they got a great front 4. They honestly played Mayhem extremely well earlier in the year. And against Ruckus, they only surrendered a touchdown, and that's it. So, right now, defensively, if I were to say what the better defense is, I would probably have to go with the Warriors. They have a great pass rush. They've shown to go toe-to-toe with great offenses. Like I said with Mayhem, they gave up less points against Mayhem than any other team has, including Broadaxe and the Red Knights. So defensively, I'm going to give it to the Warriors. Special teams-wise, Survivors have a kicking game. Their kicker, Jordan Bartok, he's 3 for 3 on extra points this season. Haven't seen him from field goal range yet. However, if they get down to the red zone within the 5 to 10 range, I think a field goal will be a safe bet there. The Assassins, I haven't seen much kicking game out of them. The Warriors had a return game this year. They had Brandon McClain take a touchdown back against Mayhem, but I don't think either side will use kickoffs today. So that scenario is almost irrelevant unless they get a punt return of some sort. So what I'm going with special teams is I'm going to go with Survivors on terms of kicking. But that's only if they get within range, so I don't really consider it that much of an advantage. So I think it's just a narrow one at best. As for momentum, the Assassins have it. They just scored their first win last week. They've improved every game. You want to look at the point differential in their first 3 games. Minus 32 against Ruckus. Minus 12 against the Knights. And then plus 16 against Top Gun. This is obviously a team that's improving. I think that'll give them an advantage. And I'm over here at the field right now. If you want to talk about who's the most ready, I want to say it's the Warriors. It's 9 a.m. We're not even an hour from the game starting against the Assassins, and they already got about a full team on the field. This is a very eager team. They have a lot to prove. This team truly believes that this is their season. And you know, I said in the beginning of the year, they're a B bracket dark horse. I think that the Warriors, they got a lot to prove. This is a big deal. They have to win both of these, I think, for momentum's sake. Because going 1-1 or 0-2 today would just be devastating for them. Because all of a sudden, you're talking about being below two teams that were at the basement of the league at the beginning of the season. So, I think the Warriors are the most to prove. I think the Survivors have a better offense going in. If Taylor can get time and receivers can catch it, that was a big issue last week against the Knights. They were up by 8 in the second quarter. They were having a lot going for them until that pick six. And defensively, like I said, the Warriors, they have the advantage. Survivors have a slight edge of special teams. The Assassins have the momentum, but I think the Warriors are the most determined to win this because of what's at stake today. So who do I think is going to win? I think in the Warriors-Assassins game, the Warriors, when I watched those two play each other in their scrimmage beginning of the year, it was rough. The Assassins just looked like they were lost in that one. They got their ass whooped. It was 22-0. But that's a much different team now. This Assassins team has had plenty of time. They're trending upward. The Warriors, they showed fight against Mayhem. They almost beat Ruckus. I wouldn't say they're trending downwards because of the fact that they're 0-2, but the Assassins just have a little more momentum. I think, however, what it boils down to at the end of the day is offense and defense. If the Warriors can force Haga in the turnovers, which he's been shown to do this year, Haga's had 6 interceptions, I think that could come in handy for them. I think that would be the biggest key, perhaps, of them all, is their pass rush, getting the Haga, forcing turnovers. But what's going to hurt the Warriors is whether John Shobe cannot make mistakes himself. 3 picks against Ruckus last week. I think it'll be a closer game than before. I want to give slight edge to Warriors because I think the Warriors have a better pass rush. I think they're going to do well against the Assassins' offensive line. But it's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to take Warriors maybe in like a 14-6 kind of game. I don't see much offense in this one. Mostly because I think the Warriors' defense can shut down Assassins. But I also don't think the Warriors' offense can move the ball well. They got to do better of that today. Second game will be Survivors and Warriors. That's going to be a 12 p.m. kickoff. The first game starts at 10:30, by the way. Those two teams match up extremely well. Survivors' offense is actually playing extremely well, like I mentioned. But if their line, and Ross Collins is actually is right next to me. He just showed up.
Hey.
Hey, how you guys doing?
All right.
Is that a new hoodie you guys are debuting today?
That's right.
That is nice looking. Let's take a look at that. The official Warriors hoodie.
It's even in the hood.
That's just nice.
Yes, sir.
That's great. If you want one, contact Ross because that thing is legitimate. I want one actually.
We're getting ready to order some more.
Order some more?
Yeah.
All right. Put in your request today for a Warriors hoodie. It looks
right.
Amazing. My God. I'm envious right now. You don't know how envious I am. That's the nicest thing I've seen.
Name on the back and everything.
Got the name on the back and everything. Oh, the tramp stamp on your
right.
jersey, on your hoodie. As I mentioned, second game is going to be Survivors and Warriors. Those two, like I said, will match up very well. The Survivors' offense is clicking, but their offensive line still shows signs of struggle at times. Maybe with Ridenauer back, they'll play better today. We'll see. The Warriors' D-line, on the other hand, I think could have their way with them. Could make it difficult for Daniel Taylor. on terms of offense and defense, if the Survivors defense can't pull it together against Shob and company, they're going to be in for a long day. Because if the Warriors offense gets back to late last season form, they're going to shred the Survivors. See, that defense was just brutal last week. I think in that regard, if the Survivors can get a rush, I think they could force Shob into mistakes. However, right now, I'm going to give the lean to the Warriors as a whole. I just feel like they're a more complete team. I feel like as much as the 27 points was impressive last week by Survivors, they're going up against a Warriors team that I feel like could play them better than the Knights defense did. The Knights was brutal last week. I think what it comes down to at the end of the day is mistakes again. Because all three of these quarterbacks are prone to mistakes. Taylor is, Shob is, Hega is. And I think once again the Warriors' defensive line prevails. If Shob can keep a clean game, they'll win it. I'm going to go with the Warriors over the Survivors. Again, another low-scoring, close game. I feel like that'll be a pattern for today. A lot of defense. Is it Survivors Warriors first? I swear it was Survivors Assassins. That might make more sense. All right, I got it backwards then. Okay, so reverse it. That's fine. In my head all week, I thought it was Warriors Assassins first. I don't know where I got that from. I think my write-up even says it the other way around. Oh well. It's early. I'll get it. I'll pull it together before kickoff. So obviously with the Warriors going 2-0, my predictions, I got the Warriors winning this. Now as for Survivors Assassins, that's going to be a case of attrition by that point. Survivors will be on a break. Them sitting for a while could hurt them, though. It's going to be a cold day out here. The temperature's only supposed to hit 55. And by that point, they're going to have to keep moving around to stay warm. The Assassins will be heading into the second game of a doubleheader. That's going to be whether they can hold up or not. So, I feel that boils down to war of attrition. 10:30 is the first game, Joe. In a war of attrition between the Survivors and Assassins, both teams are deep, but I feel like with the physicality of the Warriors' offensive line or defensive line, that could pay a huge detriment to the Assassins. I feel like the Survivors could force Hega into mistakes. Not saying that Taylor won't be forced. It's going to be close. I feel like it's another low-scoring game. It's interesting because all three teams are similar in some regards. Like it's the offense that can't get past mistakes. The defenses who are trying to improve. In the case of Survivors, it went really backwards last week. But Warriors and Assassins have gotten better throughout the year. I think, though, it's going to be in a war of attrition that I want to give the lead to Survivors. But we'll see. I mean, the Assassins came out extremely well in the second game against Red Knights last week. I think that's almost a toss-up between those two. Stamina is going to be key in that regard. And I don't think many players on each side are very experienced with that. I know the Assassins already played a doubleheader. And I know Survivors haven't, but Survivors have guys who've been in the league for years. So, we'll see how it goes. That's almost a toss-up. I want to go Survivors there. That's what my instinct's telling me. So we're going to go Survivors on that one. The record standings for today will be Warriors 2-0. Survivors 1-1. Assassins 0-2. No offense, Assassins. I just feel like the Warriors' defensive line is going to create problems if their O-line is not putting together. And I feel like the Survivors, fresh off a little bit of a break, hopefully they're smart to stay warm, will do pretty well against an Assassins team that I'm not sure will hold up on the O-line after the long first game or second game against the Warriors. And that's another thing that's key for this is if you're the Assassins against the Warriors, you want to get out of Dodge as soon as the game's done. Because you don't want to be in a long overtime struggle with them having to play another game right after. Because that could deflate you for better or for worse. Or deflate or inflate you. So. Anyways, I'm taking calls in. If you want to call in, give your opinion, give your predictions. I'm going to block this sun out real quick. Because it's starting to extend itself. If you got any sort of predictions about today or Ocean City, I know that less said the better for the league in Ocean City yesterday. I'm not even sure we won a single game. But it's Saturday. Saturday's feeling out, it's seeding, it's trying to figure out who you're going to play Sunday. So no hate towards any of the participants down there. I give all those teams props for traveling. It's not easy. It really isn't. You got to make sure you got a good group of guys down there. You got to make sure you have the pieces you need. It's not something that you just simply do. In fact, 10 teams are in action today from the league. The only one not in action is Top Gun, who's off practicing at their facility. When I say facility, I mean some field in Martinsburg. But best of luck to all 10 teams in action today. Boys over in Ocean City, bring it home, man. I don't care who it is. Bring it home. Win both trophies. Bring them back here. We got to send a message. These other leagues are just trashing us right now. We got to take back what's ours, man. We rightfully belong on the top. So, if you want to call in, talk about today's games, just give me a tap here on Facebook Live. I'll be talking for a few more minutes. If not, then I'll just sign off. It's going to be a nice day up here at South High. The weather is not desirable. Not what I was hoping. We're going to peak around 53. The wind's already picking up. So mostly it's going to be a chilly day. As from what I've seen, it's our last day. So hopefully we don't get this cold until the fall at the latest. Maybe playoff weekend in the fall. But blue skies and beautiful weather all around this week coming up. If anybody knows what's going on with the Mayhem game in OC, I know they're playing right now. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody actually has it on live stream though. I haven't heard anything, but I've also haven't checked anything yet. If you want to call in, talk this tournament today, talk OC, feel free. I'll take any caller. Right now I'm watching the Warriors. They're on the field. They're ready to go. Survivors have guys rolling in now, but the Warriors, they look like they're eager. They're ready. They're debuting their brand new hoodies. They got it going on. I think all three of these teams, though, are doing great. Another thing, another PSA. Do not park in the grass at Emma K. Dowd or an angry old ginger lady will berate you while you're live streaming for a broadcast. She was not happy. My bad for parking in the grass. Didn't think about it. That's my normal spot when I usually come here. It's a great view, actually. The hill cam. It's perfect. Anybody wants to call in? Feel free. I know we're gonna have low viewers. I figured we would because of a 9 a.m. start, so it's okay. We are going to do Washington County flag football live tomorrow night, barring anything getting in my way that causes me not to be able to do it. It's been a rough season. We're trying to get that launched. I had service issues out of the ass 2 weeks ago. I just gave up on that. Last week, I just had so much going on. I had to celebrate my birthday. Special shout out to all of you guys for that. It was an awesome weekend. Best birthday of my life. Hope to do it again next year. I also want to announce that some of you may know I'm currently planning a move to Morgantown, West Virginia. That was something me and my roommate discussed back in last fall. Originally, it seemed like we were leaving next month. However, because things have just not been going our way this year, we've had struggles with a bunch of stuff. We've had to push it back. So I'm taking this time to announce that I will be locked in to be doing 2 more seasons of Washington County flag football action, at the very least. So I'll be here next fall. I'll be here next spring. And I'll definitely be here for the Hagerstown City Tournament in November, as well as Turkey Bowl 12 in November, and any other events that anybody may want hosted. So I got a new 1-year deal in place. Next May is when things will be interesting. I'm trying to go to WVU to get my grad school degree in teaching. Hopefully I can get it done fast so I can come back here with you guys for another season. So, there's no calls. I'm going to shut it down for now. Best of luck to everybody in Ocean City. I doubt you guys are watching because I think most of you are hungover, and I think the rest of you are in the field right now. If any of you come up and you're here by 2 o'clock, then come by and watch the game, man. It's a party today. The Basford Bowl, Heritage Bowl. This is what's at stake. It's going to be a nice day, everyone. Special shout out to Ross Collins for being a really good bud. I appreciate it, pal. And I'll see you all on the field at around 10:30. Till then, have a good day.